Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yesterday, I found out that Astrobrite has a new album coming out. Now, if you're not a shoegaze fan, then that really doesn't mean that much to you, but that's very exciting for me because their last album came out in 2015, and we don't know anything at all about the album other than it's coming out in summer of 2023, which really could be any time now. And I got to thinking it would be really cool to create like a promo poster for it, even though I have no information on the album itself. So I have an idea. I haven't played around at all with anything yet, but I'm just gonna roll with it, and let's jump into Illustrator and have some fun. All right, so really anybody who is a kid at heart is gonna recognize this logo right here. This is the logo for Hot Wheels, but Astrobrite actually uses their name in the place of the Hot Wheels logo for things like t-shirts and other merchandise. And I always thought this was really cool, but I got to thinking, what's another iconic brand that maybe starts with an A that's also retro, and we could easily do something like that for this promo poster? And it immediately came to me, Apple. Apple starts with an A, Astrobrite starts with an A, so we're gonna let this flying apple right here be our inspiration. And I want to do something similar to this, where we have this apple and this trail of colors behind it, and I got to thinking, well, what's something that we could utilize there in the place of an apple? Well, here's a picture of Scott Cortez, who's actually the man behind Astrobrite, and he's wearing this shirt with an astronaut on it, and I thought, that's perfect, an astronaut helmet. So that's where we are. So let's see if we can find an astronaut helmet vector. And there's a lot of options right here, but I want something that's nice and solid that we can easily vectorize. Here we go. I found this one right here, and it's mostly solid. And since we're using it for personal use, I'm just going to go ahead and steal it. All right, let's bring this into Illustrator. And this is already fairly simple, so we should be able to just hit image trace, and it'll just go ahead and vectorize everything for us. I don't need those sparkles, so I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so let's go ahead and scale this down, move this over here really quickly. And I actually really like the idea of maybe doing the beige background here that is on this. So let's go ahead and set that. And what I'm going to do to make this easier is I'm just going to size this down to roughly about right there. And I'll go ahead and design our trail right here, and I'll do this horizontally, and then we'll rotate it. So we're going to use the exact same colors here. So I'm going to hold down Option or Alt if you're on Windows, and just drag this down, and then I'm going to hit Command D, and that's going to step and repeat, and we'll do a total of 6 of them right here. And I like to make absolutely sure that there's no spacing in between any of these at all, so I'm just going to use distribute spacing. So I'm going to select this key object right here, make sure this is set to 0, and click on vertical distribute space. So now we want to make these same bars right here, the total height, the same height as the astronaut helmet. So all we have to do is select all of them and bring them up to right here, and make sure that it's the same at the top as well. Perfect. All right, this next part's pretty easy. All we have to do is color drop. So now all we have to do is select all of these, Option or Alt drag over here, select everything including the astronaut helmet, and we're going to go to our Pathfinder tool and click on Divide. So now all we have to do is delete everything that is outside of the area of the astronaut helmet. And now we want to select everything here and click on Divide again. And now we can just delete these little circles in here, so that way it gives us dimension. Doing this can be very finicky, and also I forgot to mention, make sure that you have your direct selection tool selected. All right, so now these points right here are just looking a little bit too pointed, so I'm just gonna smooth that one out right there. All right, that's looking really good. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we need to set this like maybe around here somewhere. This next part is gonna be a little bit tricky because what we need to do is we need for the outer edge of this shape to cut and contour into these rainbow colors, just like it's doing right here in this Apple logo. But the Apple logo is a lot simpler than our astronaut because we have all these different shapes in here. So I'm gonna move this over here, and I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna go over here to Object and Path and Offset Path. And I think something like 1/8 of an inch will be enough. So we need to align the center of this about with the center of the end of this line right here, because we need to make sure that we're cutting and we're not going to leave behind any kind of jagged edges or anything. So now we're going to select all of this right here, and we're going to click on Divide. And now all we need to do is go in here and basically delete most of this out, where all that we're left with is that contour. And going into your outline mode is definitely going to help you with this. All right, let's take a look and see where we are. We're definitely going to have to do some cleaning up in here, but that's no big deal. I definitely should have chosen the simpler design. All right, let's delete this one, and now let's bring this over here and see how it's contouring for us. It's pretty good. We just have a few adjustments to make inside here. And most of these are just going to be color changes. So we can go in and just select this with our direct select tool. And let's close up this path right here so we can easily make this all one color. And what we'll do here is just select these and click on Pathfinder again, delete that one on the outside. And now everything on the inside here can be purple. We need to delete that little sharp line right there. All of this can stay. We just need to change it to red. And this one needs to be changed to red as well. And this one to orange. Now this will be a little bit tricky because we need to just bring this over here with our direct select tool. That's good. And now we'll just bring that one over. And I'll just add this right here so that we can smooth that out a little bit since we don't have the option of smoothing. This one here is a little bit pointed, but I'm not too concerned about that. And now we'll just go in and color this one yellow. And this little bitty part right here needs to be colored green. All right, very cool. And now what we can do here is just we can, move it out a little bit to about right there or so. Looking good. All right, so now we're gonna bring this over here, and that looks really cool. So now let's go ahead and select both of these and group them together. And before we set our angle, let's go ahead and type out our text. And it's gonna be just like the old Apple logo right here. So let's go ahead and kern this. All right, cool. And if you're curious, the name of this font for the old Apple retro logo is Mater Textura. By default, the kerning on it is pretty terrible, so you need to go in and make sure you manually kern it. All right, so let's select everything here. We'll create outlines. And I think what we'll do here is add a really cool gradient stroke. So let's go over here to Window and Gradient. And this is gonna be just on the stroke itself. So what we'll do is we'll add a couple of colors here. We have a total of 6, and we'll just color drop from the colors that are in this rainbow here. We can't really see it too well right now, but we will in just a second after I deselect everything. All right, very cool. So each one of these have their own path when it comes to the stroke. However, you do have the option of having it go continuous across the entire text, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, so if you want the gradient to go across the entire text, select your text, go to Object, Compound Path, and Make. And that's gonna take away the fill color, so all you have to do is grab your eyedropper tool, hold down Shift, and click on black. And now it's one continuous shape going from left all the way to the right. And then we can grab our eyedropper tool, hit X on our keyboard to switch to stroke, and now just color drop on that stroke. And now it's going all the way from left to right. Now that is really cool and everything, but for some reason I just like this better at the top, and I think that it fits a little bit more in line with what Astrobrite does. And you can play around with the angle right here. My default is usually 135, and if you want, you can reverse the gradient. I actually kind of like that best, so we'll leave it like that. And rather than going 100% black, I'm gonna go like maybe 15% black just to make it look a little bit more retro. All right, so let's grab this and we'll group all that together. And I'm gonna align this to the center. I'm gonna grab this whole unit right here, align this to the center. And I don't want it to be dead center vertically like this. So I'm gonna bring it to the center and then maybe go like this, -3 inches. And now we will align this to the very bottom of this and push it out maybe an inch or so. That's a little too much, maybe like ½ an inch. There we go, that's good. Okay, so next we need to do our rotation. So what we need to do here is we need to measure and figure out what this rotation is, and it's really easy to do that. So all we have to do is I'm just gonna make this a black stroke right here, and we're just gonna go like from here to here. And then I'm gonna create a perfectly straight line going from here to here. So now I'm gonna select this bottom line, hit R on my keyboard and hold down Option and bring these little crosshairs over to here on this side. And then that'll bring up our rotation. And we will rotate this up to, looks like 20 degrees. So we'll just make sure that that rotates at 20 degrees. All right, that's looking great, but what we need to do is we need to make sure that this is going to the edge of the paper. So I'm gonna add a line up here, and this is really just gonna act as a guide. I'm gonna lock that line real quick, and now I'm gonna hit A on my keyboard to activate the direct selection tool, and we're gonna select just the left side of these bars, and we wanna make sure that it stays in line with everything, and that's what that line is for. All right, now we can hit unlock and delete that. So there's our Astrobrite poster right there, and let's just add something like new album summer 2023, because that's all they've told us. All right, the kerning is done there, and now I just want to bring this up to, I actually really like when it's tight like that in between the lines. Okay, so we'll move this down here to the bottom and then bring it in by like -1 inch or so. Looking good. And we'll set our anchor point to the bottom right, and we'll just make it go like an inch or something like that. All right, and let's color drop this black right here with that same black color. All right, so our very last step is going to be to mask the artwork inside of the poster itself. So all we have to do that is click on our background. I'm going to hit copy and paste in front. And now I'm going to go up here to object, arrange, and bring to front. Move this over here just for a second, and I'm going to go back to our original background and lock that. And now bring this back over and align it to the center. And then select everything right here and just do Command 7 on my keyboard. And that's going to mask everything on the inside of this. So there it is, our Astrobrite promo album for the new album coming out in summer 2023, whenever that is. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I really hope I taught you something in Illustrator today. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and click the bell for notifications to be notified of all future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.